What's up, everybody? This is the Crossplay Compatible Podcast.
To the Crossplay Compatible Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about our different podcasts. So, it's going to be a weekly podcast, and we'll go around the horn. It's going to have different podcasts, maybe the same podcast every week, but we have different podcasts in this group. And we'll talk about what we're talking about in our podcast this week, and then we'll talk about what we're playing. So, start off with
game science.
Oh no. All right. Guess I'm going first. All right. My name is Dana James Barker. I am one of the two co-hosts from Game Science. The other co-host is my brother-in-law, Jackson Nikolai. He couldn't make it tonight. He is out of town and doesn't have his recording equipment. Anyway, we are a podcast. We're a pretty new podcast. We just finished our 8th episode. We try to stick to like science fiction video games, and I'm sure we'll deviate from that a little bit. And you know what, we're still kind of trying to figure out what our niche is. But we've been talking about Overwatch for the past 8 episodes. And you know, usually we're gonna try and like stick to a few episodes per per video game, but you know, Overwatch just has 27 heroes now, so it's kind of hard to talk about 27 main characters in a video game pretty quickly. So we just finished our last episode on Overwatch, and that was actually released today, Wednesday. And we talked about Moira, and we talked about Symmetra, and we talked about Zenyatta. You know, we talked about the way that we've done Overwatch is we've kind of like broken down everybody's like abilities and like how feasible they are, and we've talked about like the story behind them. And like with Moira, we talked about like her like scientific standards, her unethical approach to science. And with Symmetra, mostly we just kind of raged at her. Mostly I raged at her. There's a pretty long segment that is just me yelling at Symmetra and how BS of a character she is in the video game. And then we talk about Zenyatta, and just cover his abilities, and then we wrap up Overwatch. Jackson is more like story oriented, and I'm like more science oriented. So, you know, we like to say that he's the game, I'm the science, because I went to school for physics, he went to school for theater. So, I mean, we both kind of bring those two things to the table in that sense. So yeah, that's what we talked about this last week. This next week, we're going to be talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is going to be interesting because I actually don't have a PlayStation 4. I have played through the game, but unfortunately I can't play the game anymore. So I can't because it was actually my ex-girlfriend who owned the PlayStation, so I can't play it anymore.
That's rough.
So I'm gonna have to do a lot of side research to figure out to recall just everything that happens in the story. But I'm pretty excited about that because you know, I'm excited to talk about AI and just like everything that happens in that story. And we're gonna have to like change up the format. And I mean, you know, as we go on and talk about different games, you know, we're gonna have to talk about like how to change the format for every game, because, you know, a lot of games are different, especially since this is so much different than Overwatch. And in Overwatch, we just addressed each character individually, and now we actually have to go through the story. So that's going to be pretty interesting to talk about. So are we
Are you gonna pass it on, or I don't know. What are you looking for right now?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, are you sure?
There we
I
go.
didn't know that was a rough segue. I didn't know like you were I didn't know you're pausing. I'm like, is this where he wants me to step in? I don't know.
Somebody else go, please.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
for the love
okay,
of
okay.
God.
Yeah, I got you.
Please.
I am the master of the cringy open that you heard earlier, because I assume we're keeping that in. My name is Tyler, and I'm from the podcast Better Than Static. Because let's face it, we're not great, but we are still better than Static. And our main goal is we want to make you laugh, and that's where we catch you with the title. We're a conversational comedy podcast, but we like to focus on nerd culture, anywhere from video games to movies and TV shows, comics. We try to hit it all. Our episodes drop every Monday around 7:30 Eastern time. This week we had a special guest, one of my friends from work. His name is Greg, and we did a quick review of Ready Player One. We kept no spoilers out. We like to give a 2-week cushion for movie review, like in-depth movie reviews, because we do not want to spoil it for people, because then we might lose listeners, and we can't afford that. So, but we did a very soft review of Ready Player One, which I really enjoyed, because I was super hyped because we did that streamathon for it, guys. That was so much fun. I had like the most people in a stream I'd had during that event, which was amazing. And we also did a quick review. We kind of took apart Sea of Thieves and analyzed it and kind of said the good things, the bad things about it, which was rough for me because I hadn't played it. But luckily, the two guys I had on, my regular co-host Chris and Greg, our guest, they reviewed it really well. And I which was rough because I tried to keep them from bashing it too bad. But hopefully, we do a pretty even job of reviewing it. And then at some point we start spiraling down the rabbit hole of Pokemon types and what's better against what, which I'm completely fine with because I actually know about that topic really well. And we had a lot of fun. It was just it started out really serious with Ready Player One and Sea of Thieves, and then we kind of trailed off, but it worked. It made for a really good flow, and I think we had a lot of fun recording it, and had a lot of fun just talking with the crew. This next week, we have another guest. It is Doug from Gaming and Chill Podcast, which we met them at Louisville's, Derby City Comic-Con last year, and we're going to do some collaboration with them. Their podcast is really cool. It's kind of just laid back like ours. But this week I'll have Doug from Gaming Chill, and then my other co-host Lucas. So Chris and Lucas are like my normal guys, and they're just two of my best friends since kindergarten, and we just decided to do a podcast. But sometimes can't keep them on the show. They just, life happens. But so this week, I think our main topic is we're going to talk about A Quiet Place, kind of what our expectations are from it, and just kind of talk a lot about John Krasinski and his line of work, and then kind of segue into some of the Deadpool animated series news, and maybe talk about, if we still have time, talk about the new Spider-Man game that's going to hit in September. I'm really excited about that because I love John Krasinski's work. I'm ready to talk about what could have been with the Deadpool series, and I'm ready to see what's going to happen with the new Spider-Man game. So a lot of things to look forward to with this new episode, but super excited. And I will pass the mic on to Mike.
I see what you did there.
Ooh, I'm great at segues.
Yes. Of all the segues I've seen, that was the most segueist.
I'll take that honor, or that award, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so I'm Mike Ryan. I'm with the Controller Throwers podcast. We're a video game podcast. Mostly, actually, all of our members are pretty old. So we grew up in the era of the Atari and Nintendo, and right around that time when all the we got to see firsthand all the changes in gaming and everything. I know we got a lot of younger podcasts that we're members with, so it's always fun to talk with the whippersnappers. So this week we air our show every Tuesday night at 8:00 Central. We do a pre-show and a post-show, so feel free to show up at 7:45, and we normally just chat until about 11 o'clock Central Time. And then we post our podcast. It's on iTunes, Google Play, and at thecontrollerthrowers.podomatic.com. So this week we talked about a lot of things. We talked about the PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Games with Gold subscriptions, the new games that are coming out that are out in April. We talked about Microsoft's got this backwards compatibility announcement that they're making next week. I'm a big fan of OG Xbox, but I haven't been really too thrilled about what they've shown us in terms of OG Xbox backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. One of the things was the Crimson Skies. Is that they announced Crimson Skies is going to be backwards compatible, but then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, no online. And that was a huge part that I played when I played Crimson Skies. So we talked about that a bit. We also talked about GameStop's trade-in values because that's always makes for fun conversation.
It's so broken. I hate GameStop trade-in value.
Yeah. So yeah, they're offering a little bit extra if you wanted to trade in a PlayStation or an Xbox. So they bumped up their values for the time
like
being.
$2.
Right,
For like
yeah.
$2.
So you're getting $3.
So we're talking newer PlayStations, right? And I can't get rid of my pile of PS1s.
Right. No. Yeah. That's still going to be tough.
Oh, fine.
You could always sell them at a garage sale. Do you? I don't know. Are you aware of like how cutthroat retro gaming is for garage sale people? It is.
We can make a podcast just me talking about that.
Okay.
I used to be part of that.
Okay. So like you would say like because people would post fake garage sale ads that are as far away from other garage sales as possible as like to bait the other retro collectors so that they can get to those houses first.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What? That's nuts.
There was an ad I saw one time, and they had Streets of Rage 2 or 3 like in the box and a bunch of other Genesis things. Whatever Contra game was on Genesis. And I emailed the lady and was like, hey, can I come by, maybe get this early? And I'm being polite about it. She's like, no, we want to save it for when we said our garage sale is going to start. And then she emailed me back like 20 minutes later. Okay, this guy's being creepy and said he's going to sit outside our house. So why don't you come like an hour early and we'll just make sure you get it and not him.
Yeah.
It pays off to not be creepy, right?
I know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Oh my
look into it. I don't know if there's like a Reddit or something on it, but yeah, retro gaming collectors, especially like, the people that are really into. Well, there's only two type of retro collectors. There's the retro collectors that buy to keep. And there's the retro collectors that buy to flip. But some of these stories are like people get into like knockdown dragouts and at some of these garage sales. Somebody's got a Virtual Boy for $20. They're going to be yeah. So we talked about that. We talked about trade-in values at GameStop, and we have one of our segments is our retrospective, where one of the members of the podcast talks about a retro game. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Pokemon because our one of our members, Sherry, she was assigned Pokemon Red, so she talked all about Pokemon Red. So that's was
a solid version of Pokemon right there.
Yeah,
Blue
absolutely.
for life.
I was right at that cusp. I did not get into a Pokemon game until Pokemon Y or X.
Oh wow, dang.
Well, again, talking about that I'm an old gamer. Pokemon came out just when I was starting college, so I was like knee deep in GoldenEye for like 2 straight years.
That makes sense. That's a tough game to quit.
Yeah. So I never got into it, but then my son started getting into it. So I'm like, all right, well, there's 2 versions. So, I'll just get both versions. And I'm like, wow, what the heck have I been doing? So that was our, and then of course, we talked about what we're playing and everything like that. So that's our show. We talk about basically gaming news, what we're playing, and every week we do talk about a different retro game. So, and with that, we'll move it on over to the next. See, that's a terrible segue. See,
We'll all take.
It's so hard to top
classes.
mine.
It's better than
I
my
know.
segue of just somebody please take this away from me.
That's how my intro went, right? So we're not alone.
That's totally staying in there, by the way.
yeah, in a year from now, we're going to be listening to this. Now that we'll have better intros and better segues and better banter. We'll be like, what the heck were we doing?
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Well, at least
think a year from now
that
we'll
will
still
mean
say
that
that's
we've
right.
improved.
That is true.
Hey, true.
Yeah.
I mean, we can only go up from here, right?
That's the spirit.
No. Yeah.
All right, so I'm Chris. I'm from Play Comics, where we look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. The latest episode I actually have out as of the time of recording this is me and Paul Chomo from Varmints looking at Amazing Spider-Man for Game Boy, which is nice and horrible. Let's just put it that way. I've got
The
one.
game or the episodes?
No, I'm sorry. The game is horrible. The episode is mostly amazing. We had some audio hiccups on my end, so that's fun.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure the audience knew what you were meaning.
Right. Next, I have one that I have no idea why it's not out yet as of the time we're recording this, because it should have been out last Sunday, where Tyler from Better Than Static and I talk about The Flash.
I loved that episode, dude. Just talking about DC Comics that's my jam. Because
Everybody's going to love it when they hear it.
I do. I don't have to do the intro for that one, so you should definitely listen to it.
I'll tell you what it is, what's holding me up. It's the fact that I have to go back and record the outro.
Ah, dang.
And
That episode is so much
It's
fun,
really
though,
good
by the
at
way.
after that, the plan, I have recorded, blah, 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 blah. This is what happens behind the scenes. So after that, the next one, I've already got it recorded. Matt Sanderson and I and Matt being from Semi-Intellectual Musing, look at Captain America and the Avengers, which first came out for arcades, but then came out for Super Nintendo and Genesis and Game Boy and Game Gear and kind of regular Nintendo, but not really because there was a game with the same name. That's going to be another great episode for everybody to go listen to, once I actually get it out.
I loved Captain America and the Avengers, the arcade game.
Okay, good.
I tried it on the Super Nintendo and it was almost impossible to play. But I can't tell you how many quarters I sunk into that cabinet. Man, did I love it. The thing that I loved later on in life was how terrible the translation was. Like the audio in the game, the voice acting, as well as the translation from Japanese to English was so terribly done. It's laughable.
That's part of why I love all these retro games, because you get a bunch of stupid little things like that they're just amazing.
It was like even on the first stage, and I remember this very specifically because you're the heroes, Captain America, Hawkeye, Vision, and Iron Man, and they go up against, I think, Whirlwind or Claw, one of those guys, and they say, "You will not escape," and the other guy goes, "You will be the one escaping." And I'm like, "What? I don't know what that means." And then one of the other ones is like, "Stop right there," and then the villain says, "Why should it go well?" It's like they didn't even try.
Quick question, though. Is it the original art for, like, Hawkeye and Falcon?
The original Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's the big purple guy.
It's purple and then, like...
purple Falcon, and it's white Vision.
Oh, nice. I love that art
Yeah,
so much.
because the arcade game came out in 92, and, I mean, the latest any of the other games came out was, like, 94.
Okay, yeah. So I just didn't know how well it'd translate to, like, that, like going to the lower res stuff.
It really doesn't look that bad on any of them.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of
Fun
control
fact.
for Game Boy graphics on there, but
That's
it'll be
true.
good.
Fun fact, my first comic ever, even though I'm a DC fanboy till I die, was a Captain America a Marvel comic. Still ashamed of it.
You know what?
There's nothing wrong with that.
That was actually my first comic. Was a Captain America comic.
Oh, we're twins.
Yep.
Mine was one of those Disney comics, so it was probably DuckTales.
That's not a bad one either.
That's still a good
That's-
choice too. Yeah.
Mine was a Batman comic that I got from a garage sale, and it was missing a page, so there was a weird jump in plot, and I was really confused for the longest time.
To be
about what
fair,
was
it could have been Batman, so there might have just been a weird jump in plot.
That's true. The early authors of Batman were a little not Zack Snyder. Or not Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder is who writes for Batman right now.
Yeah, and so after that, I've got no idea what's coming up. So if you want to be a guest on the show, hit me up. I've got a big old giant list of Overkill. People here have seen it. I don't hide it from people at all. If you want to see what's on there, pick a game. I know Roger's looking at it right now. Carrington, who should be with us, is trying to find something sooner than the PS2 Spider-Man game he picked out so he can be on a little sooner. Got a couple other people lined up on some things that are pretty far down the road. So I'm going to need some guests.
Can we have a moment of silence for Carrington? Pour 40 out for him. All right, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the moment of silence for?
Carrington, he wasn't here.
Okay.
No special
Something
reason. We
happened?
just miss him.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
He's our intro guy.
Yeah, he's way better than me.
That's right. But yeah, I'd love to be on the show. I'd love to talk. I love comic book games, so that sounds like that's right up my alley.
Cool. If anybody else wants to be on, let me know. I'll show you the list. Mike, I'll definitely show you that list before I go to sleep.
Cool.
And then Roger, I guess that just leaves you.
Right. So yeah, my name is Roger. I am one of the hosts of Gamerheads podcast. We are a podcast that explores video games from different perspectives, from a game developer, from a manager at a local game store, and then myself, a parent to that game. So, Mike, I think I might be older than you actually. So, yeah, I'm one of the old guys. So, this last episode, we talked about character. We talked about what makes a character iconic and what makes people want to play certain characters, and what draws people to characters. So that was interesting topic. And then I just recorded last night with Carrington and Kyle from the Real Dudes podcast, and that should be airing next week about what our top 3 games that we're looking forward to. So look forward to that. That should be coming out next week. Yeah, that's about it.
Just
Do we
3
know
games.
Yeah.
Games.
That's
I
gotta
only
be
allowed
tough.
them to have 3 games. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a question. Who
Other games too.
from the network isn't represented tonight? That way we can kind of like, I don't know, tell who all's in the podcast network.
So Katie's not here. She's one of the podcasters as well, and Carrington and Kyle are not here as well.
Gotcha. So definitely guys, check out Real Dudes podcast and Cake Bites because they have some great content too because they're part of our crew.
I think that's it. I think that's the group, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
it's like 8 podcasts, right?
It's
We're a
something like that.
burgeoning group. We're a burgeoning group.
Oh yeah, if you have a video game podcast or a podcast about nerd culture and you want to be part of our little group here, you're welcome to reach out to us on Twitter. So you can reach out to me at Gamerheads PC. Any other groups here? I mean, we'll talk about how people can get a hold of us at the end of the show. So,
Cool.
all right. Do you guys want to go into what we've been playing then?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's start off then. Game Science. Do you want to tell us about what you've been playing?
For sure. All right. So, Daniel, have of course been playing a lot of Overwatch. I mean, 90% of the time that's what I'm playing. It's my favorite game in the whole world right now, and I mean that's just the game that I play a lot. And I'm pretty excited to see the Overwatch Retribution event that's coming out next week on Tuesday, I believe. Jackson, I'm pretty sure he's playing a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn just in preparation for our next episode. And I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot of research on that. I mean, we both obviously play a lot of other video games, but yeah, that's what we're playing right now. Obviously, I'd probably be playing Horizon Zero Dawn a lot right now too, but
Yeah, you got a tough situation there.
got a bit of a snag in that. Let's move on for a cry.
Okay. I'll pick up slack. So Better than static. We are. I kind of have tabs on everybody what we're playing because that's just how we come up with topics. I know Chris. He has been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves here lately. That's how we got the great review from him. He's enjoying it, just like the sailing part of it. I think he likes the navigating and just the realistic is in quotation marks because of the video game, but like how in depth the steering of the boats and stuff are. He's really enjoying that, and just he loves the different tasks you can do to get money, which is just his style of game. And Lucas, he has been playing a lot of Switch. He got a Switch here recently. He's when he has like an hour or two to sit down and play, he's been playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But like say like if he just comes in from work and he's only got like 30 minutes, he'll hit up Mario Odyssey. So he's been playing those, which he's been loving those. Like he's been like every time like right before we're setting up our podcast, he's always talking about those. I'm like, all right, we get it. You have a Switch. I'm jealous. He's actually convincing me to get a Switch, which with my tax return money, I'll probably get. And then I'm playing a lot of Fortnite on the Xbox, which I love Fortnite. Like I love battle royale games, and I tried PUBG for Xbox, and just the controls did not suit me. But Fortnite, I think, is great. Epic Games has a pearl on their hands of just how great this game is. I love all the cosmetic stuff you can get. I have like my favorite skin on there. They're doing so many things. Like they don't just update it and let it go. Like they keep tabs on it. They're doing a great job of upkeep with the game. Like this week, actually today, today's the 4th of April, right? They dropped their new update, which is vending machines. So you can trade in building materials for like guns and stuff at certain vending machine locations, which I think is amazing. I think that's a great concept because it'll keep people from just going for high loot places, and it'll actually bring the farming aspect back into the game of getting wood and stone and metal, which I think they did that because they saw that everybody was just going for guns instead of building materials, and they wanted that aspect to still be strong in it. And then, the homing missile launcher just came back into play, and I'm trying to get some good content for YouTube for that. So I've been playing Fortnite on my streams on Monday night and stuff, just trying to get good YouTube content for that. And then they have an update coming tomorrow, which gives me some new challenges to level up my battle pass for that. So I'll be cranking those out this weekend. I can't wait. It's such a good game. I cannot speak. I talk a lot about Fortnite in our regular podcast, but I cannot talk enough about it. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to the controller throwers.
And with that, I'm going to continue talking about Fortnite.
Yes.
I've been playing it on the PlayStation 4, and actually I was just streaming it this afternoon because I did not get into Fortnite a whole lot, and I played it on and off here or there, but I kept getting wrecked. So I'm like, I'm done with this game. But my son loves the game and plays it all the time. So I figured it would be a really good stream for me to play the game with him and him just tell me what to do. Because, and I mentioned this on our show yesterday, have you ever had your parents call you to ask you computer questions?
Yes.
I live with my parents, so they just walk upstairs and ask me.
Yeah, and you're trying to give them instructions over the phone on how to like set their cable box or just do something, and for the very first time I was on the opposite end of that. So we were streaming today, and he's like, "All right, he's like, we want to stay away from tilted towers." I'm like, "Wait, what's a tilted tower?"
Oh, you don't want to know what's a tilted towers. Trust me.
And we're walking around, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, there's a giant llama right here. What do I do?" He's like, "Oh, there's a llama. Let's go to the llama." I'm like, "What's a llama? Why is there a llama in this game?" So it was fun to that was fun to play. So I'm definitely getting more into it. I bought the starter pack, and I got.
Oh yeah, that's a nice skin that comes with that.
Yeah. So my son just unlocked John Wick.
Oh what?
Yeah.
How much does your kid play?
What?
Oh, he's on spring break, so.
Oh, okay. Let's say.
Yeah.
He is. I think I'm 30 battle tiers away from John Wick skin, but I think I can get it with these new challenges that are coming out.
I don't even know what level I am in that game. Yeah, I mean, you have to be like a level 100 John Wick, right?
Yeah, it's 100.
Oh,
but like
boy.
doing like challenges and stuff really bumps up your level apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I played. I've been playing some Fortnite, so I'm enjoying that. I'm getting more into it. Sherry from our show, she's been playing Minecraft. The other guy on our show, Kurt, he just built a Minecraft server. So he actually built it on a Raspberry Pi, an entire Minecraft server on a Raspberry Pi.
What?
That's cool.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
It was
That took a lot
incredible.
of time.
It did. And then, but the thing is, once like more than 3 people got onto the server, it started really chugging. So he transferred it over to his PC. So, so they've been playing Minecraft. Brian, the other guy on our show, he's been playing The Witcher 3.
That's such a good RPG game right there.
Yeah, so he loves those types of games. He spent hundreds of hours on Skyrim, and so he likes those games. So he's really loving The Witcher. And so going back to the Switch, talking about things that make you want to buy it, this game completely blew me away. I downloaded the demo for it about 4 months ago, and I hadn't touched it until this weekend. But I started playing Octopath Traveler.
Oh, that was one of my top 3 games.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah.
The demo, it's a Square Enix RPG, kind of like old school Final Fantasy. The characters are 16-bit sprites, but the backgrounds are, fully rendered, and it just looks beautiful. And I'm not much of an RPG person. The only RPGs I like are old school. Like I played Final Fantasy 1, and I played Final Fantasy 7, and I played Quest 64, and I think that was it. So, well, with the exception of the Pokemon games.
I think what's going to make me buy the Switch is finding out that they're releasing Bayonetta 2 on the Switch, because I always wanted to play that game, and I was not going to waste money on a Wii U to play that game.
Yeah, the Wii U is not great. The game that is actually pushing me to getting the Switch is Super Smash is coming to Switch. I'm so pumped.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, this Octopath Traveler and it's just the demo. You get to pick your choice between 2 characters, because in the game, the final version of the game, you'll have to choose between 8 characters, and each one has their own story. So you can theoretically play the game 8 times and get whole different stories. But I played the female character, and the story behind her was so ridiculously mature, and I was really, really shocked at some of the dialogue in this game, in her story.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
so Roger, you know what I'm talking about, right?
And that's one thing. Like when I first saw that game, I thought, "Oh, this looks kid friendly." And then that girl, I'm like, "Nope, yep. This is not kid friendly."
nope, not at all. But the
So what game is that again?
Octopath Traveler.
All right.
This is a Switch exclusive game.
Yep. Yeah, Switch exclusive. And seriously, like I was very pleasantly surprised at the quality of the game. So if you have a Switch, it's a free demo. So I mean, give it a shot. I actually might end up ordering the $100 limited edition of it, because it was it was just such a good game. So that's what I played.
Well, I do not have a Switch or a PS4 or an Xbox One. Though there's no wop about it, because besides things that I was playing specifically for my podcast as research, I've also been playing Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Yeah.
And who's going to...
Nice.
You can't say that's a bad game. It's just amazing.
No. Yes.
So, I mean, nothing really to go on there. I mean, I've got some Turtles stuff lined up with some people, so I've been playing Hyperstone Heist and Turtles in Time to kind of brush up on that, and reminding myself how horrible I am with it. Excuse me. And Tournament Fighters, although time-wise, I think I'm going to have to cut that out of their episode and do something else with it. But yeah, other than that, it's just been a lot of Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Which is a solid game. That's one of the best fighters.
Oh, it really is. I mean, the whole reason I started my podcast anyway was because of my wife and I sitting around playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Oh,
That's a good game.
you're speaking my language. I love Street Fighter Alpha 2. I only had it on the Super Nintendo, and just that so annoying was that, because it was such a very complex game. When the round would start and they'd say, fight, you'd have to wait like 4 seconds for that to load for it actually to load.
Oh,
But-
that sucks because I'm playing the PS1 classic version of it on my PS3.
Okay,
So I don't have to worry about anything quite that bad with it.
right.
Plus
Yeah, I can't
wireless
wait.
controllers.
Yeah, that too. I can't wait for that Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection to come out in a couple months.
Oh, I mean, I can't wait till I actually get off my butt and play the Street Fighter anniversary collection that I picked up for original Xbox.
Ooh.
I just, for some weird reason, haven't touched it yet. And besides that, though, the only thing I'm really doing game-wise is trying to mod a couple PSPs and Xboxes for some people.
Okay.
So I've been playing a Switch. That's all I've been playing, which is funny because I have like an Xbox One and a PS4 and an Xbox 360 and a PS3. Yeah, all I've been playing really is a Switch. So I've been playing a lot of Golf Story. I've been enjoying that game. I like that game.
I've heard great things about about it from Bernie Burns on at Rooster Teeth. He talked a lot about it in one of their podcasts.
It's fun. It reminds me of like the old Mario Golf games, kind of. By Camelot. I don't know if you guys remember those games at all, but that was fun.
I do not, but I'm only 23, so those are
So they probably came out about the same time you were born.
yeah.
Probably. And let's see what other games I've been playing. So I've been playing Zelda. Not as much, but a little bit of Zelda. Mario versus Rabbids. I've been playing that, and themed actually for the Ready Player One stream. I was playing Dig Dug, and I didn't think I was going to play as much of Dig Dug as I did. I actually really enjoyed that game. I like that game. That was a lot of fun.
I had planned on playing Millipede for that stream, and I was like, if I have to play this for 3 hours, I might hurt myself. So I just ended up playing Fortnite.
I watched one of your streams actually, or one of your playthroughs, Tyler.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It was the one where you got in second place.
That's very few of them, so I'll have to think about that one. I'm not awesome at Fortnite. I have fun with it though.
Went into a restaurant and you like boarded off this whole area. It was really strategic because this guy started coming up the path, and you just like on a corner, and you just sat there really patient, and then as he round the corner, you got him. But
Oh, I
then-
do remember that one. Okay, yeah. It was in Greasy Grove. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I'm not familiar with the terminology of the game.
I was gonna jump pad to the last guy, but he broke my ramp right as I was about to place my jump pad. I was so mad. That was a rough round. I had fun with that one though. That was on my Ready Player One stream, I think, right? I think.
It was. Yeah, with that. So, yeah. So I've just been playing a lot of Switch games.
Which how many like they have a good catalog for the Switch now, right?
Bad. I mean, say there's a lot of games on there that are mobile, like mobile influence, that are just kind of crappy. Like they're the $2 games or whatever. But there's a lot of good games on there too.
Which I mean, they got to play to the mobile aspect of their system because that is one of their big selling points. And then, like when you have these strong games like Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, Stardew Valley, like games that will carry your system, like you can put out those and still be good.
Another game that I've been playing, NBA 2K18 on the Switch, and so this is just how dorky I am. I'm not a big basketball fan, but this game, the presentation is so amazing. Mike, did you ever play what was it? The 2K15, I think it was, for or 2K5, I think it was for football. It was
Yeah, I still have it.
and that's what this reminds me of.
ESPN 2K5, NFL 2K5.
Yeah.
You mean the game that was so awesome that it forced EA to take a monopoly on the NFL logo and teams and players?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
that's
game,
the one.
that game was so good because do you remember you could go and watch like at halftime they'd go back to Chris Berman and he would be like talking about the game, and then they would have like ESPN after every week and they talk about every game that happened.
Yeah, that was like the production quality on that was ridiculous. Like I still will play the game, that game over any Madden game to this day.
That game
Well,
was so good.
NBA 2K, like this, the story mode on it. I watched the free trial that Lucas on our crew downloaded. I was staying with him that weekend at his apartment, and like it was almost like a movie. Like they had thought about everything in that story mode. It was amazing. I loved it.
So you think that one's worth picking up? Then?
It's on sale for, well, I got it on sale for $30, and I thought it was definitely worth. I heard that Best Buy is actually selling it for $30 right now too, along with Mario versus Rabbids. Yeah. So
Well, cool. Yeah, I picked up Mario and Rabbids for like $15 or something like that at Best Buy.
oh wow,
Man, that's a steal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on sale, and plus I had some like Best Buy rewards cash. So, still have yet to play it though, but that's good. Yeah, that interests me. It was I think sports games have gotten really convoluted for me to play now.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, they have to because you can only play so much of the same game. I think. Like, I think they've evolved it into where they can actually sustain putting out more.
yeah, that's my main complaint about the Madden games is that every year it's some changes to the gameplay, and I know Mike my co-host Matt reminds me that they did change things enough to make it be like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And I say that the 2K18 game, this basketball game, I'm impressed. So
I'll have to look into that.
do you want to talk about the event then that's coming up in April?
Sure. So on April 13th,
Which is a Friday. It's a
That's
Friday,
right.
by the way.
One of those very few times a year that we are blessed to have a Friday the 13th. As a fan,
that happens on Friday.
Yep, a Friday the 13th. That happens on a Friday. That doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it.
Too.
As opposed to Friday the 13th, that doesn't happen.
That's right. Yeah. So Friday the 13th, of course, is a celebration of all things unlucky and has taken on its own form in terms of things in the horror variety with the Friday the 13th film series. So what we're going to do this month for April, on Friday the 13th, we're going to, much like our prior Ready Player One Streamathon, we're going to have a horror-thon. On Friday the 13th, we'll be playing all types of scary games. I'm going to be playing the Friday the 13th for the PlayStation 4, which is the game is glitchy as you wouldn't believe, but it's still so much fun when you play it. So I'll be playing that. We've also got Slayaway Camp in the lineup.
Nice.
What else? Splatterhouse.
Yes.
So
Splatterhouse, I'm not. So
Splatterhouse is hard. I'm not. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Splatterhouse is an extremely difficult game.
I was gonna try to play some of the game modes on GTA. It's like Friday the 13th, where it's like, it's a group of 5 or 6 or whatever, and whoever dies becomes like Michael Myers or whatever, and like you have to run away from him. I'm gonna try to get some gameplay of that if it's still available on GTA. I'm actually looking that up right now.
All right. So keep an eye out. Friday the 13th, we'll be playing all sorts of horror-related games, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Every day is Friday the 13th. That Symmetra still remains in Overwatch.
Do you really not like her that much?
I hate. Okay, like listen to the episode that we just released because there is like there's a 2-minute rant that like I actually just max out my microphone just how much I'm yelling, and there's a point where it goes from just it ceases to be words and it's just me yelling syllables at some point.
Okay, I'll have to check that
Jeff
out.
Kaplan, delete her. For God's sake, delete her, please.
I'm just sitting over here
Oh
having
my
no idea
God.
what you're talking about.
Well, good, because you are spared the hell that is Symmetra. I hate her so much, and it's not playing her. I mean, I can't play her because she's boring to play. But I hate playing against her. She's terrible. I hate her. I hate her
I
so
used to
much.
play as her, like when I first started Overwatch, because it was pretty simple. You just put out turrets and then you have a beam that you just shoot. But
You're
I
a
don't know, like,
monster.
listen, it was when I first started. So now my main is Orisa and Torbjorn.
My main is Junkrat, more or less, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, and
trying
you
to
call
fan
me
out
the
a little bit.
monster.
Oh, come on. Junkrat is not worse than Symmetra.
I mean, he's not great. Like, I hate playing against Junkrat. Oh, I hate playing against a good Junkrat.
Well, I'm a good Junkrat.
Well, then
So
I'd hate
one-
playing against you.
1v1 me, bro.
Probably not, because neither of my mains would be good at 1v.
But yeah, delete her. Blizzard, delete her, please. For the love of God, just delete her. I hate her so much.
I wish Kyle was on the episode tonight because he's a huge Overwatch fan. Is that a lot? So
A huge fan of Overwatch or a huge fan of Symmetra?
of Overwatch, yeah.
Okay.
We need to get a
I don't know how he feels
squad.
about certain characters.
We need to get a squad on Xbox because, like, Carrington
Yes.
and Kyle both play on Xbox. And do you play on Xbox as well?
Yeah, I play on Xbox.
Nice. We'll have a full team because one of my crew wants to get back into playing Overwatch. So yeah,
Oh, yes,
that'd be
please.
awesome.
I'm down. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
We need to coordinate. We could stream that.
I know. We
One
should play
last
the new event together.
I'd be down for that.
Oh yes. I dibs Moira.
Okay.
Yeah, I got.
I did. I could
I have
sense
nothing
that
to
Roger was trying to segue something, so I didn't say anything. But but go ahead, Roger.
I was just gonna say the last thing that was we'll give is how people can get a hold of us then. And Daniel, you want to start with you?
Oh yeah. So yeah, our podcast is called Game Science. We are right now, we're still a pretty fresh podcast. So right now you can find us on iTunes for sure. And you can also find us on SoundCloud. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Game Science Pod. And we also have a Twitter and an Instagram. So yeah, you can find us there. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. We don't have a website now or as of yet. But I'm sure that's something that's going to happen in the future. But yeah.
So you can get a hold of us at Better Than Static. We have an email, btstatic.pod@gmail.com. We will take any suggestions for topics, or if you want to bash us to our face, you can do that. We also have a Twitter at btstatic. We'd love for you to tweet at us. That's usually where we make sure to advertise our episodes. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/btstatic. And then if we're ever streaming, you can check us out, twitch.tv/betterthanstatic. Our website is betterthanstatic.podbean.com. So yeah, check us out. We put all our episodes up there. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. I'm pretty sure we're on every main podcasting app, and then we're also on YouTube. And I put like some gameplay content up there. And then if we do press coverage at a Comic-Con or anything like that, that goes up on our YouTube page. So yeah, we have a lot of we do the podcast, and then we try to do some other supplemental content. So you can check all that stuff out. We're not great, but we are better than Static.
I love that tagline so much.
Dude, it's my favorite thing to say.
It's funny because it's true.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, just crap all over your co-hosts on this podcast.
So we are the Controller Throwers podcast. You can find us on Facebook.com/TC Throwers. Also find us on Twitter. We're at TC Throwers. You want to listen to the show, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, and thecontrollerthrowers.podomatic.com. If you want to watch any of our streams, we stream on twitch.tv/TC Throwers. We stream the podcast every Tuesday. And on Saturdays, I do a perler bead show, just a chill stream, where I make video game characters out of perler beads. So, and we listen to all types of different music, take song requests, things like that. So, feel free to check us out.
My favorite shows, by the way.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Do it.
All right, so Play Comics can be found over at playcomics.com. Facebook, I've got the fan group at facebook.com/groups/playcomicspodcast, or the official page at facebook.com/officialplaycomicspage. Twitter, you can find me over at playcomicscast, and if you're in any of the Facebook podcasting groups, I'm in there all over the place, just loving everything because my default mode is to like things. It's just a much better lifestyle living that way.
Yeah, agreed. Nice. For Gamerheads, you can follow us on our Twitter account. That's GamerheadsPC. You can also email us at gamerheadspodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to our episodes on Podbean. That's gamerheadspodcasts.podbean.com. For our podcasts, all of our podcasts, we're actually on. You can follow us on Facebook. That's crossplay compatible on Facebook. You can look us up on there, and then you can also see our Twitch channel as well. So all the streams of our podcasts and of our video games and different shows, you can catch that all on our Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/crossplaycompatible. Thanks everybody for listening, and reach out to us. We'd love to hear from all of you, and let us know what you think of our shows, and if you're interested in joining, reach out to any of us as well. So
Do it.
For listening.
Yeah, thanks for checking us out, guys.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All the shows here are great, so just randomly pick one. You'll love it.
I mean, why stop at one?
Well, you gotta start with one, but then eventually listen to all of them.
That's true. There you go. Yeah. Peace.
Nice. Good night.
What's up, everybody? This is the Crossplay Compatible podcast. Tonight we got a lineup, and we're all from all our different. Oh, that was really bad. Don't ever use that again. Somebody else do it. That was bad.
Using that.
David.
Just introduce yourselves and get this over with. That was so cringy.
Now,
You still sound like a robot.
what?
Also, this may or may not be getting recorded right now.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. It's good. It probably just good cons. Everything else hard, probably. Why is it?
Do you have anything else that would be using your mic?